Stay tuned as we check out this Marvel Legends Super Skrull Build-A-Figure, Doctor Doom. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And today we have reached the conclusion of this Marvel Legends Super Skrull Build-A-Figure wave. And have we saved the best till last? As in front of me we have Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom himself. A much needed comic-based Doctor Doom update for our Marvel Legends shelves, and hopefully Hasbro haven't disappointed. So far, just in the box, he looks really nice. 2 interchangeable heads, a couple of interchangeable hands as well, and again, he just looks perfect for what we want as a Doctor Doom in figure form. So let's get him open. On the side of the box, we're getting a comic-based picture of Doctor Doom. On the back, we get a little promo shot and then a bio that reads, Victor Von Doom uses his incredible intelligence and magical abilities to oppose the Fantastic Four. And then, as always, we get a list of all the figures in this wave you need to complete the Super Skrull Build-A-Figure. Today, we're reviewing Doctor Doom. So as I said, one of the most iconic Marvel villains, Doctor Doom, and now we have an updated version in figure form. So without further ado, let's get him open. And here he is out of the packaging, looking very nice, I must admit. As I said, a much needed update for a Doctor Doom that we haven't got one since 2012's Epic Heroes line, and I will do a full comparison of that one in this video, so stay tuned. But before we take a look at him, he does come with the last Build-A-Figure piece we need to build the Super Skrull Build-A-Figure. It is just a leg, but I promise you, once this is built up, it will look very nice. So obviously come back to the channel, subscribe and all of that, as I will be reviewing the Super Skrull next. So yes, today, right now, is all about Doctor Doom, and he comes with 2 interchangeable heads. One's a more modern head and the other one's more of a classic looking Doom head where he's got all the bolts into the helmet, but we'll look at that more closely in a minute. And he comes with 2 interchangeable fisted hands, which means he has 3 different hands in total, but not 3 different sets, as the 2 hands that are on him out of packaging, one is like a claw open graph Barabi hand, and the other one is like a gun holding hand, essentially, for his gun in his holster. So it is best to zoom in and show you all of the details on this guy. As I said, it is very impressive. So here's a closer look, and look how deep that hood is. His face is hidden in the shadows and you can hardly see the detail in there, which I quite like, that deep hood. But if I do try and bring in some light just to show you for the review, there is a face under there and there are eyes behind the mask as well, so they haven't skimped on the detail. This is the more streamlined head sculpt, and I will swap out and show you the more classic looking one in a minute, but the details are there with his eyes under the mask. And I like the gold medallions as well on his cape, which again, the cape's a separate piece that plugs in the back. I'll show you in a minute, but they attach by the front, so you want to be careful with that. And then, as I said, the cape around the back is a separate piece, has got a peg and a peg hole, again, probably hidden there. And again, these were sort of blaster effects I will show you in a minute, because you can plug in some Iron Man effects into there, which make it work well. But yeah, that plugs in the back, so it sits there nicely. Some nice textured detail on his top bit, on the tunic, and then this double bout is in a nice brown, like a double bout in this sort of gold buckle. Moving around to the side, you can see he's actually got a gun harness with that Detroit Tigers D on there. I didn't realize he was a baseball fan, but what's nice about this is that it does pop open and it's a working holster, people. Hasbro have done it. It's an actual working holster with a gun in there, and then this hand that he comes packaged with is his gun holding hand, and the finger is a separate piece, so you can actually get the finger in the trigger, which is a nice touch, as that isn't always the case. So obviously that's a bit bent, but you get it. So it's nice to have, as I said, a working holster and a gun holding hand with a trigger. So again, let's put this back in there. He's a Detroit Tigers fan, as I said, and that plugs in. But again, there's still textured detail on there, and there is a slit in his bottom piece which makes him easy to articulate. So here's the second head sculpt, and this hood isn't as deep, but his head is still hidden in the shadows, as you can see. So if I bring in some light, you'll be able to actually see how this head sculpt's got all the nuts and bolts screwed into his iron mask. So this is definitely the more classic looking Doom, and you can still see the eyes under there. But he looks like the Hannibal Lecter with that mouthpiece. But I prefer the more modern, sort of streamlined helmet, but this is a classic iron mask. And again, while we're zoomed in, I didn't show you this hand. This is just the open gripping hand that again, he can do his mystical abilities and whatnot. But all the armor is really nice, to be fair. Looks very medieval, and even on the inside of the arm you can see straps to show you that he sort of strapped himself into this iron suit with the chainmail as well on the top part of the arm. And again, if you lift his skirt piece up, you can see the chainmail on the top of the legs as well. And again, even those more straps on the leg pieces, which shows that he's sort of strapped himself into this iron suit, even down to the legs. Looking very nice on the inside there, and it does not affect the articulation at all. Some decent joints on the leg, decent ankle pivot, double jointed knees, you can nearly kick himself, and again, decent articulation on the arms as well. So they have not skimped at all with this guy. And again, if you wanted to use some effect pieces, I've already showed you on the back here, he's got a peg hold. And again, if you have any of the classic Iron Man effects pieces, as I've said, you can plug them into the back. So you just take off this sort of star bit at the front, so you have this normal piece like that. And then I've already done one of them, but if I bring him back in, you can see that he's got holes underneath there, so you can actually plug him in, so it looks like he has blaster effects. And you can still plug in the cape as well after that. So it's sort of, you can see the blaster effects under the cape, which is just a nice little touch for the display. And of course, if you have any of these electric effects as well, you've seen with many a Marvel legend, you can of course use these with Victor Von Doom. And also, I should mention, he has the interchangeable hands as well. So if I pop these off, then you can put in the fisted hands, and you do get a set of fisted hands if you wanted him to look a little bit more menacing. And again, I still really like these lightning effects on Victor. And again, for any customizers who do want to give him sort of a fabric cape, the cape does come off nice and simple. You just have to pop the head off. And they, as I said, they didn't skimp on the detail at all. As you can even see strings there, as he's sort of got his old style, I don't know what you call this, top on, I guess. But again, there he is all the way around. And again, articulation is really good considering he's a figure sort of trapped in chainmail. But yeah, looking very nice. Get yourself a fabric cape with some bendy wire. He will no doubt stand out in the display. And I do want to mention as well, the unmasked Victor Von Doom head that come with the infamous Iron Man does fit on here, but I've lost it in all my moving day boxes, so I can't show you. But trust me, that unmasked head does fit on here. But it would have been nice to have a removable mask to show his scarred face, as that is what the classic Doom character is all about. And another way to tell these hoods apart is the more modern style hood has like this big nick at the back, like reminds me of Green Goblin, where this classic looking hood has it only a little bit. But yeah, subtle but nice. And then here we have the new Doom compared to the old epic Heroes Dr. Doom. And this guy has been the main Doom in a lot of people's display for a long time. And I didn't realise how much of an upgrade this guy was until I stood these two next to each other. Because you can tell that they're meant to be the same character, but wow, this new one is so much better. As I said, on this one, the hood is actually attached to the cape, which comes off. And I did like the fact that this guy's faceplate come off to reveal the sort of scarred head, but he looks like he got a pea head. It just doesn't look good. It looks like Deadpool in an iron mask. It actually looks like Silvermane a little bit, to be fair, with that scarred up face. But the helmet does go on, and then that goes on that. But there's no way does the articulation even compete with this guy at all. Yeah, it just looks better. The details are better. The colours are better. This guy's got a little bit more sort of gunmetal silver, where this guy is just straight up looking like the Tin Man out of the Yellow Brick Road Wizard of Oz. But yeah, this new one is such an upgrade to this one, without a doubt. So if anyone was thinking they don't need a new Doom, you are wrong. The new one is superior. And then here we have the new Doctor Doom compared to the infamous Iron Man. This is when Victor was trying to be Iron Man in the comics, since Tony Stark wasn't around. And while I was looking for him on my boxes, I found Victor. I actually put the unmasked head on a suited body, as he did appear in the comics a few times like this to Tony Stark. So this head does fit on this one, so I'll take this off. And obviously the classic looking Doom in the comics would have been a bit scarred up, but in this storyline in particular, Victor came out all handsome and it confused everyone. And as you can see, this separate neck piece is actually from the new Doom to give you more articulation for the head. So actually it goes in there. So that is, the head is in two separate pieces. So there you go. Gives you a lot more articulation for the head. But yeah, this unmasked Doom, Victor, does fit on this new body. If you wanted a more modern head on a classic body, I don't know why you would, but still, it works. And then lastly, here we have Doom compared to the new Fantastic Four from this very same wave. And then, of course, the only other figure in this wave that was single packed was the grey She-Hulk. So, yeah, overall, a very solid wave. Very Fantastic Four themed, of course. Only the Super Skrull Build-A-Figure to go, which will be my next review. But until then, make sure you go and check out the Super Skrull Build-A-Figure playlist and check out my review for all of these figures. And obviously, the next review will be the Super Skrull himself, looking very nice, I must admit. But yeah, this Doom is definitely the standout from the wave. That is no secret, and definitely the best comic-based Doctor Doom we have. I think maybe we'll see Doctor Doom in the MCU one day, but nevertheless, he's a great villain. We need to see him sooner rather than later. So anyway, you let me know what you think of this Doctor Doom in the comments below. Is he the standout from the wave? Is he your favourite Marvel villain? Very curious to hear your thoughts as always, but I do think there's plenty of posing options with this guy, with the two interchangeable heads, and then you also get the fists, and then with all the other effects and stuff that you've got in your boxes, I'm sure you'll make this guy stand out in your display. I'm very curious to see what people with a cloth cape can do with this guy as well. He'll look very dynamic floating on your shelf with a nice sprayed out cape and whatnot. But yes, let me know in the comments below, and as always people, most importantly, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much, and if you want to support the channel that even a little bit more, then you can check me out on Patreon to see all my reviews first. But as always people, my name is Dan W, and of course I shall see you on the next one.